Hello everyone, welcome to the SOMC podcast series. The theme for this semester is Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, past, present and the future. And based on that, in this episode, we are going to talk about the very famous, our very own father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. Before going ahead to our speakers, I would like to give you a brief about our topic. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was an Indian lawyer, politician, social activist and writer who rose to the prominence during the nationalist movement against the British rule of India. He was born on October 2nd, 1869 in Porbandar, India and passed away on January 30th, 1948 in Delhi. He earned the title of Father of the Nation and revered around the world for his philosophy of using non-violent protest, satyagraha, to advance political and social change. Today, we have Paridhi, Saquib, Kaif and Chris as our eminent guest speakers. I first of all welcome them. My very first question to you all is what image particularly you have of Gandhiji in your minds?
Bapu, as we all know him, till date remains one of the India's most celebrated political figures. Being born and brought up in Gujarat, I've always seen immense and blind respect towards him. His appeal to the masses cannot be denied. People loved and respected him for the Bapu they thought and believed him to be. But, well, he was many things to many people. And like we know already, nothing is truly ever just black and white, right?
जैसा कि हम उनको जानते हैं, बहुत नामों से जानते हैं, बापू, फिर गांधी जी, फादर ऑफ नेशन. तो उन्होंने बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट रोल प्ले किया था इंडिया को आज़ादी दिलाने के लिए अंग्रेज़ों से, और वायलेंस के काफ़ी खिलाफ थे वो. और उनका एक बहुत फेमस कोट है जो नॉन वायलेंस जो है उसके ऊपर है कि एन आई फॉर एन आई विल ओनली मेक द होल वर्ल्ड ब्लाइंड. और वो काफ़ी डीप भी है. तो मेरे हिसाब से तो काफ़ी रिस्पेक्टफुल इमेज है उनकी सोसाइटी में भी, और तब भी थी. वन ऑफ द मोस्ट रिस्पेक्टफुल फ्रीडम फाइटर्स मैं तो बोलूँगा.
Gandhiji to me was more than a freedom fighter. He not only fought for the freedom of India, but he also did some great works while he was in South Africa. He fought against the racial discrimination in South Africa. His Satyagraha campaign in South Africa led to the 1914 Indian Relief Act, and he did much work in South Africa as well. जो इंडिया में भी उसका हमें impact दिखा है आते हुए.
Yeah, Gandhi lived in the hearts of millions of Indians. He was respected by many. I think that was because he laid emphasis on banishing untouchability, promoting literacy and development of our great nation. He moved people with his sincerity and his sacrifice. At his behest, they were ready to lay down their lives in the freedom struggle of our country. He also had a great love for children and showed it in his own unique way.
True, very true. My next question for you all is what do you think about Gandhiji's perspective of non-violence?
तो नॉन वायलेंस को तो हमेशा ही नॉन वायलेंस के साथ थे. वो वायलेंस उनको बिल्कुल भी पसंद नहीं था. और जैसे कि उनका एक और फेमस कोट यही है कि सबको लगता है कि अगर हम लोग वायलेंट नहीं होंगे तो हम लोग एक वीक पर्सन रहेंगे. तो उन्होंने उसके ऊपर बोला था कि नॉन वायलेंस इज़ अ वेपन ऑफ द स्ट्रॉन्ग. वेपन वीक का नहीं, स्ट्रॉन्ग का है. और हमेशा इसे नॉन वायलेंस, लव और ट्रुथ ऐसी आइडियोलॉजी को फॉलो करते थे. वो एक बहुत ही रिलीजियस प्रिंसिपल को फॉलो करते थे, अहिंसा के. तो हिंसा के काफ़ी खिलाफ थे वो, अहिंसा के साथ थे. तो यही है हमारे प्यारे महात्मा गांधी जी.
I agree. In fact, that's one of the only things I like about Gandhiji is his love for non-violence, his propagation of non-violent tendencies, the things he did to fight for a country non-violently.
Yeah. I think the only reason why he was able to attract international support was because people could see our freedom struggle for what it was, our freedom struggle, as opposed to a terrorist movement, which it would have been if we were to pick up arms. So violence does at times take away from the cause and the motive.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
And what I also think is जैसे कि Britishers ruled India for over 200 years, I believe. And 200 साल से सब ट्राई कर रहे थे फ्रीडम के लिए. एंड व्हाई we never got freedom in the last 200 years during that period is because I guess गोल तुम्हारा ठीक है, एक है that you want freedom, but शायद approach गलत थी that you are acting way too violently, aggressively. So I believe
more so the reason we started getting freedom was because around the 1920s to 1940s, that is when most of our Indian freedom fighters, that is the time when they started going to other countries to talk about freedom also.
Yeah.
Before that, we were just fighting by ourselves in India, whereas that around, I think like people like Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, they started going to other countries, they started approaching them, and then talks started because they went to countries that were previous British colonies that got liberated by themselves. Like for example, America, they went to America, they went to France, they
Singapore,
went to Singapore, Japan. So they went to all these previous colonies, and they started getting support from there, and eventually we got a freedom. I think because of that is why during that time period is when we got a freedom.
Yeah, all that is cool, but what I am saying is I meant ki approach ki non-violent.
Yeah, I get you. He had a non-violent approach. He led the non-violent approach, but there were many more people also over there in the non-violent approach. Like Swami Vivekananda was there, and I'm pretty sure if I sat them.
There are many
more. Yeah.
I agree. Also, we know that he has a great history. But what, according to you, is the biggest achievement of his life, as well as for the Indian independence?
If you're just talking about Gandhi's life, I think one of his biggest achievements will be that I think he was nominated about 5 to 6 times, maybe even 7 times for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Going ahead with the podcast, Gandhiji's salt satyagraha is one of the biggest moments in Indian history. Would you like to enlighten our listeners about the same?
द सॉल्ट मार्च, जिसको हम सॉल्ट सत्याग्रह, दांडी मार्च, दांडी सत्याग्रह कई नामों से जानते हैं, वो हमारे प्यारे बापू महात्मा गांधी जी ने ही लीड किया था, जिसको ये 24 दिन तक चला था, जो 12 मार्च 1930 को चालू हुआ था और 6 अप्रैल 1930 को ख़त्म हुआ था. अंग्रेज़ों ने सॉल्ट पे हाई टैक्सेस लगाया था. ये इसको फाइट करने के लिए एक नॉन वायलेंट मूवमेंट था, जिसमें कोई वायलेंस का यूज़ नहीं हुआ था. बड़ी शांतिपूर्वक इसको निपटाया गया. तो ये हमारे गांधी जी ने ही लीड किया था इनको.
So in the Dandi March, Gandhiji walked from Ahmedabad to Dandi and covered a total distance of 388 kilometers. And जो इसमें वो हुआ था, जो हमारा main conclusion निकला था Dandi March का, इसमें कोई agreement में नहीं आए थे हम Britishers के साथ. The only thing which happened was India got global recognition कि yes, they want their liberty and freedom. So इससे it motivated over 80,000 Indians, जो बाद में prisoners भी बनाए गए. But the thing is कि Indians motivate हुए थे and India की एक image बनी थी world के सामने that Indians want freedom now.
Along with that, this movement also provoked like a lot of other non-violent protests all across India. But another thing that happened was it led to the imprisonment of around 80,000 of our fellow Indians. And because it did not result in any mutual agreement with the British, so I think that in certain ways this was the results were positive, but also in certain ways there weren't any results to show for it.
Yeah, but sometimes छोटे छोटे results matter करते हैं because you are getting global recognition. World is getting to know that what India wants now.
So agreed with that, but
जरूरी नहीं है कि जो भी तुम्हें जो रिजल्ट चाहिए वो इंडिया में ही मिले. तुम्हें बाहर से फिर सपोर्ट मिल सकता है because the world is getting to know what your intentions are. तो इसकी वजह से काफी freedom fighters बाहर गए and they got the support.
Okay, fair enough.
Whoa, what an insightful talk we've had with all of our speakers. I'm pretty sure that our listeners must have gained a lot of profound knowledge about Mahatma Gandhi ji. The motive behind choosing this topic as this week's highlight was because we are celebrating 153rd birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi on 2nd October. Mahatma Gandhi is a very huge and vast topic to say a person or to speak about. The history is so saturated with all of his deeds movements, and personal life that one cannot get over with it. This was our small attempt to relive his memories and inspire everyone listening to this through his thoughts. I thank all the speakers for making this episode so lively and knowledgeable. Thank you to the listeners. Do check out our podcast series every week for some diverse and interesting topics. Thank you.